You open your banking app on a Monday morning and the number that should be growing keeps acting like a yo-yo. Up a little, down a little. Weeks of effort. Then one rough headline and the graph dips and your stomach goes with it. You close the app. You tell yourself you will add more when the market feels calmer. That promise has lived in your head for years. Here's what happens when waiting feels safer than acting. Time keeps moving. Your cash keeps sitting. You keep meaning to build a bigger position, but the balance stays small enough that every drop feels huge. That is why most people never reach the point where growth finally starts to feel smooth. Picture this. It is the first of the month, 7:30 in the morning. Coffee goes down a little bitter, rent is paid, the card clears, and you still cannot shake the thought that you are spinning in place. You do not need a miracle. You need a repeatable way to stack shares without taking on more danger than you already live with. What I am about to share is education from watching wealth builders, not personal advice. Use your rules and your judgment. Meet Harry. He is a city electrician who pulls in about $65,000 a year before taxes. His schedule is early starts and late calls when storms hit. 2 years ago, he had $3,000 sitting in a brokerage account, and he touched it maybe once a quarter. He bought on hunches, then froze after red weeks. One Sunday night, he counted his hours and realized he was working harder than his money. He wanted to double his investable pile without swinging for fences. No options, no leverage, no chasing. Here is what changed. Harry built a 3-step compounding ladder. Not a fancy spreadsheet. A simple staircase that climbs itself. Step 1. Set the floor. Harry opened a tax-advantaged account, then set an automatic transfer of $47 every Friday before lunch. Not payday Friday. He picked a boring broad market fund plus a dividend fund and split the transfer down the middle. The amount was tiny on purpose. It did not trigger fear. It did not trigger second-guessing. It just happened. Weeks passed. Shares stacked. Step 2. Raise on rhythm. Harry tied small bumps to days that already exist. First of the month, he added $12 to the weekly transfer. Every quarter, he added another $12. When overtime hit, he pushed in $83 that same week. He did not wait for the perfect dip. He did not aim for round numbers. He followed the rhythm. Step 3. Recycle the flow. Dividends stayed on automatic reinvest. Any rebate check, tax refund, or gear sale rolled right into the same 2 funds. He treated found money like wet cement that had to be poured before it hardened into spending. The latter sounds too simple until you see the math collide with patience. The tiny floor meant volatility stopped scaring him out of the plan. The raises turned a trickle into a stream. The recycling made sure every windfall had a C. Job. Sunday night you might feel the old pull to tinker. Harry felt it too. He kept a simple rule. Shares only move in, not out, during the first 2 years unless life forces a withdrawal. No cute trades, no switching the funds. He gave the system time to breathe. If that hit different, tap like so, this message reaches the people who need it most. Back to the climb. The goal is to double without taking on more danger. The lever is time and contribution, not wild bets. Think of a stack of bricks. One by one, week by week. Most folks want the wall today and give up when they see only a small pile. Harry decided the pile would build itself because the process would run no matter his mood. Month 3, the account moved from $3,000 to around $4,000. No thrill, just motion. Month 6, he was at $5,000 and change. The graph still wiggled, but the line began tilting up. At the 1-year mark, his weekly transfer had stepped from $47 to $71, thanks to those $12 bumps. He barely felt it. The account crossed $7,000 with a rough quarter. The key was that he never paused the transfer when headlines got loud. Here is the trick nobody tells you. The moment contribution and time outweigh the daily wiggle, stress drops, and consistency rises. That is when compounding stops being a math term and starts being a habit. Harry reached that moment around month 14. Then he added a tiny turbo. Every raise at work, he promised himself the first slice would belong to future Harry. When his pay moved up by 3%, he skimmed 1% straight into the weekly transfer. The rest improved his life. He felt the upgrade without blowing the plan. He also created a little game. Could he find one expense each quarter to cut by $5 and redirect it to the ladder? Streaming bundle trimmed. Random lunches trimmed. Insurance renegotiated. Each cut was small enough that he did not feel deprived, but the totals started to matter. By the end of year 2, his transfer sat at $127 a week. Dividends were spinning off, and immediately buying more shares. The account lifted past 10,000. More important, the swings felt lighter. When a red week hit, he would shrug and say, "A sale is on." He had turned the market into a store he visited on schedule. Want more real strategies that actually get used? Subscribe and hit the bell so you do not miss the next play. Let's go deeper into the 3 steps so you can put them in place today. Setting the floor. Pick an amount that is almost laughably small for you. $5 works, $12 works, $47 works. The point is that you never feel the urge to cancel it. Put it on the same weekday at the same time, like 11:15 in the morning. Tie it to 2 funds you believe you could hold for 10 years. One broad market, one that pays cash regularly, split each deposit evenly. Raising on rhythm. Use dates that already exist so you never forget. First of the month, add 12. First quarter, add 12. Payday after overtime, toss in 83. If you get a yearly cost of living bump, skim 1 slice and add it to the weekly number forever. You are building a staircase you can climb without gasping. Recycling the flow. Turn on Dividend, reinvest, and ignore it. Any unexpected cash gets routed the same day. Sell an old bike, deposit the money, buy more shares. Refund from a utility, same move. Gift cash on your birthday, same move. You are training your future to keep every dollar working. People ask, what about risk? The latter does not change what you own. It changes when and how relentlessly you buy. Because the entries are frequent and small, you are not hostage to one price. Because the amounts rise slowly, you avoid the shock that makes most people yank the plug. Because the flow recycles, you build faster without feeling like you are giving up your life. Here is where the doubling shows up. When the weekly number climbs past 100 and stays there, the account begins to grow even when the market drifts sideways. Add that to a long-term return that averages mid-single digits to high single digits, and you are on a path where the math handles the heavy lifting. You are not guessing days. You are adding weeks. Harry's identity shifted quietly. He did not call himself anything fancy. He just became the kind of person who buys pieces of great businesses every Friday before lunch. His co-workers would say, "Markets are crazy right now, I am waiting it out." Harry would smile and place his order like clockwork. Months later, they were still waiting. He was still stacking. Before this video ends, your move is simple. Open your app. Set a tiny weekly transfer for the same weekday and time. Split it between 2 funds you could explain to a friend in 1 sentence. Add a calendar note for the 1st of next month to bump the amount by 12. Then pick one small bill to shrink this quarter and redirect $5. Comment your chosen weekday below so others can see the cadence you picked. One more guardrail. On tough weeks, you will want to pause. Do not. If life forces a break, set a reminder to restart the very next payday. The latter works only when the steps keep appearing on the calendar. There is a calm that shows up around month 6 to month 12. You refresh your account and see shares, not drama. Gains feel less like luck and more like the result of a routine. The number doubles not because you gambled right, but because you built a machine that refuses to stop. What I shared here comes from patterns used by thousands of steady builders. It is not personal advice. Your situation is yours. Now imagine the next 12 months. Friday after Friday, your stake grows. Dividends roll back in. Raises feed the flow. You did not swing harder. You just kept climbing. And one morning, you open the app, sip your coffee, and realize the number staring back is twice what it used to be. You will not feel shock. You will feel quiet pride. Because the ladder did exactly what ladders do. For clarity, here is what Harry's calendar actually looked like. Fridays at 11:15, an automatic 47 left checking. After 3 months, that number ticked to 59. After 6 months, to 71. After 9 months to 83. First of each month, he increased by 12. First business day after a storm overtime call, he added a one-time 83. The funds never changed, half into the broad market, half into the payer. He set his phone to buzz at 11:10 as a tiny ritual so he could glance and smile when the order queued. Then he put the phone down and got back to work. There were rough patches. 1 October brought a 10-day slide and coworkers kept refreshing charts at lunch. Harry did not touch a thing. He reminded himself that he was buying the same great pile, just at better prices, and let the transfer hit. 3 months later, the same coworkers were talking about rebounds. Harry still did not touch a thing. He was too busy building the next rung of the ladder to chase headlines.